Welcome to the channel, folks. Clunkers and Classics. We're continuing along with the 81 Z28. Last episode had to modify the 77 core support to fit 78 to 81 by welding on these brackets and some other stuff, and we 415'd it, a little black paint. Remounted the bumper assembly, put on all the latches and stuff like that. Got all the water hoses on there, the radiator hose, heater hoses, radiator hoses, hooked up the transmission lines, put in a radiator, put in a condenser, put on the fan, put on a power steering pump. A lot of stuff last video. These videos are what I can get done in 3 to 4 days, and it's still friggin' hot out, so I can't do much in the middle of the day. So come out here in the morning for a few hours and then at night for a few hours. And just want to mention, if you're building a car, just find time, even if you're working full-time or working, come out before work. Work on an hour or two before you go to bed. Work on an hour or two. You wake up in the middle of the night with insomnia, go out to the garage, go out to the work outside, work on it for a couple hours till you get tired, then go to bed. And you'll get it done. Eventually it'll get done. This job, if you remember, was every nut and bolt pretty much was taken off of it. Had no interior, everything was taken off, no drivetrain, no nothing. And I don't even know how long it's been. It hasn't been that long, month or two, and look at it. She's just about ready to, well, it does run. We had it running there the other video, running and driving. So that's what you can do, guys, in your spare time. Okay, I just wanted to, I should say that every video. Try to give you guys motivation to start on your project, because something like this, man, you know, you would think, you know, it sits there the way I bought it, and it's like, man, where do I start? You know, I'll never finish this thing. Just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. So there's your motivational speech. Okay, so this video, I got a whole laundry list. Won't get to it all, but we're getting down to the nitty-gritty on completing it. Just got to, out of some of these brackets and some of them brackets, we put on the power steering pump, but I got to build a bracket from here to here, or here to here, or something, because it will flop around. So we can't really run it, you know, not very long with that. We don't really want to run it at all without a bracket on there. A few things we're missing. Had 2 radiator shrouds. None of them's going to fit on there, so we'll have to do something maybe. That AC line's just sitting on there. I don't have the other one for here, or a compressor, or brackets for a compressor, or the lines for the compressor, so it's kind of useless. I just putting on as much stuff as I can for the AC. We'll probably never, like most of these cars, I'll never get around to getting the AC working. You know, that's, so I'm just putting on as much as I can of what I got. If I don't have it, well, it goes without. Okay, so wheel wells. I wanted to get to this. I always, you know, want to do more stuff in a video than actually gets done, but wanted to get these wheel wells done like the radiator support last video, but we didn't get around to it, but we will this video. So we need to sand these down. I usually just take a piece of 80 grit and scuff her down with 80 grit, put some 415 on it, and a little spray paint. Pour 15 will not stick to paint like this, so you got to it just sticks to rust. So we use spray paint over the rest of this. So you can see the remnants of a windshield washer jug. And that's what we'll have to get to it at the end. And I don't even want to look up the prices of that stuff. But yeah, it's the windshield washer jug and the overflow jug. Obviously, I don't have any of them. I don't even know what they look like. This is for the charcoal canister. We got that. We're not going to hook it up, but we got it. And then, so that's the driver's side. That's the passenger side. Yeah, it's got one. This is the best one I got. It's got one rust hole right there, but the battery tray goes over top of that. So we're not going to worry too much about that. So once this, we'll put in the wheel wells. See, I'm not exactly sure where they're going to mount up in here. It's going to be a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle with the fender and the wheel well, where all these little lips and everything go. They go underneath the fender, over top the fender. I don't know. I don't even got a complete Camaro with all the front end on it. So, or 78 to 81, because the fender will bolt to this area here. But as far as the wheel well, I know where they bolt up, except for the front. They bolt in here. They come up, and then of course the fender bolts all in here. We gotta have to kind of put it together and see where everything fits. Fenders bolt to there and there. But as far as the wheel well stuff right up in here, I'm not sure. Left this loose. We're not going to tighten that down till we get everything lined up. Okay, and then once the passenger wheel well is on over here, then we're going to hook up the electric fuel pump. There's a TBI engine, so it doesn't. This is where a manual one would go on a regular small block, but there's nothing there. So we got to use electric fuel pump. And that's going to be mounted on this wheel well here. See, and then we may have to take off one of these bolts there. It mounts up in here, and then the battery tray's over top of here. And then like I said, we'll put the fuel pump there. We'll run lines. So I got to round up a deal like the power brake booster steel line here that screws in. It's the same 5/8, and so we need a steel thing that screws into that. That's where the filter would go in there, and then we use a rubber line to the fuel pump, and then the fuel lines, we did all that a while back. Right here, this bigger one is the main one coming out of the fuel tank. That's the return. We're gonna have to probably block that off. You don't need a return. Nothing we can do about that. And we'll probably have to block off this vent. Where is it? Right here. I think I left a piece of hose on it. I got it all wrapped up here. That would go to the vacuum canister, but we'll probably just plug that off. As if you don't ask me how I know, but when it gets so hot, although it's, you know, summer's supposed to be over, it's still a high 80s, but if you don't have that blocked off, what will happen, it happened in my El Camino, okay, because I didn't do the work, they did, and they blocked them off. So and didn't have a vented gas tank, gas cap lid. That's what you have to do if you don't have it vented up here. So it builds up pressure and it'll push that fuel all the way through this vacuum canister. And what it'll do, because one line goes up to the carburetor, what it had done was pushed all the gas into the carburetor, which went into the intake, into the engine, and hydro-locked it. So you know, it was sitting for a month or something after I bought it, because it run good. And then go out there, click, 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 and I was like, what the hell's wrong with this? Thought it was a starter, solenoid, stuff like that. Finally took the spark plugs off, started it, gas out every cylinder. So you got to remember that. So we kind of got to block these off and get a vented gas cap, or leave the gas cap off, and it's a waste of fuel because it will evaporate out of there. That's the problem with these old cars there. They will run out of gas. You put 5 gallons of gas in there, go in there at the end of summer, and it's empty because it's evaporated out. Okay, I just thought I'd mention that. So that same thing we got to do with this, because we can't hook up the return and the vent and all that. Okay, so we're going to get started with that. I got the fenders over there. We're going to bring them over. I don't think they need to be painted on the inside or anything, but we'll bring them over and check them out and put them on the stand. And they got the little, I don't have the light on here, the bottom of the fender's got the little extensions right here. I have to figure out how all this, these all bolt on to the fender and the core support and all that. See, I think that's one of them braces on the core support wheel well. So, and see, once that is probably the part of the wheel well. Yeah, I think it is. So we don't need that. But anyway, yeah, we need to hook up them. So the fenders, these extensions, and the wheel wells. We'll worry about the spoiler and the flares. The flares will mount on here. We'll worry about that later when we get to the nose. We're gonna try to get the fenders and the wheel wells and everything on there, and then worry about the nose and all that stuff later. And then the wiring. You know, this wiring's kind of messed up. This is all the wiring for. It'll come across here over the wheel well, up to the main headlight here. Then there'll be a signal in there somewhere. And I'm not sure. None of my cars are all complete parts cars, so it'll probably go up underneath this radiator support over here somewhere. Horns are here, and then it'll come out in probably the signal here and the other headlight. So we'll try to get all that situated, because a lot of this stuff is all deteriorated where the headlights plug in and all that. Some wires are cut, some are chewed by rats. We're going to try to get all that done too. So there's a lot of little nitpicking stuff to do, other than just bolt on some parts and be done with it. And eventually we'll get the whole nose on there and the hood on there, and it'll look like a complete car. So we'll start with that, with what I said, and then after that, this whole laundry list of, you know, we got to bleed the brakes, we got to, you know, do a bunch of other stuff. But okay, so let me get those fenders over here, and then we'll start sanding these wheel wells, and I'll be back, show you what I got done. Okay guys, I brought over the fenders. We'll just take a moment here to admire how rust free and original these fenders are, compared to, I took off and sold a bunch of fenders off them parts cars. They're all rotted or been bondoed all along the bottom. But this one is just, man, there's just little dirt and stuff there. So these are the Z28 fenders. They got the louvers on them, and these are the what's different from a 77 or 70 to 77 are these where it bolts onto this radiator support here. That's what's different. So these are 78 to 81 fenders, and I need another set for the 80. But man, they are expensive, because not only you got to buy the fender, you got to buy the louver. Vent, whatever you want to call it, right there. You can buy them separate. See, so if I could get, now, see, it does got some surface rust on this one on the outside, but I think this one here doesn't. Well, it's got a little bit of surface rust, but we're gonna leave this for a while as patina looking. So when it's all together and done, we're gonna take some like some Clorox, whatever, Brillo pads or whatever, and clean all this off. Most of that surface rust will come off, and then we put a coat of something on there, wax or something, to keep it from re-rusting, just so it looks patina. See the top, you know how good you can see the paint's all baking out the top, but that's okay. It's doing that on the roof, but this, you know, I've always said I don't like patina. Well, mainly because most patina cars don't look like this patina. They're all rusted and rotted and been painted a bunch of times, and people clear coat over it and make it look twice as worse. But this one will actually look pretty damn good. I just had to, I did spray a little spray paint right in there before I put on these moldings. But overall, it's not going to look bad. It's just going to look all original. Like I said, well, we can take some stuff there and scrub all that stuff, and leave it like that for a while. If nobody buys it, then we'll sand her down and paint it. The only problem is the decal kits. I don't know what they cost, but I'm not looking forward to buying all the Z28 stripe kit. Goes around the flares and the front spoiler and all that stuff. That's just gonna cost. But anyway, there's a little bit of rust in there. I might touch up. Oh, here's some computer or something stuff up here. Look at all this. Man, I wonder what goes there. What is that? That's the right front. Bolts in there. Figure out what goes in there. Well, yeah, we may touch up a little bit areas with some 415, but other than that, I don't think I'm going to paint under here or nothing. No real need to. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, guys, I just scuffed these down with 80 grit, just by hand, little pieces of sandpaper. Yeah, we're not going to use phosphoric acid or spend hours with a wire wheel and breathing all the. I just blew all that stuff out of here. It was just nasty. I can just imagine with a wire wheel, and I just took a old Scotch Brite pad and cleaned up all the dust and stuff on here. So yeah, we're gonna put a little dab there and there, I think, and that's about it. Maybe around here, but we're not gonna go overboard on it. It's pretty solid. I'm thinking that harness I had, emissions harness, plugs into these. I'm gonna check that in a minute. If it does, we'll take that off, because I don't think there's anything in the light harness that would plug into that. I think it's got to do with that emission stuff. So yeah, I should be able to do all this with one can, maybe less. little can of Pour 15. Get a 6-pack for about 60 bucks, so 10 bucks a can. And well worth it. If you can do all these for 10 bucks, it's pretty good. You know, a spray can of less inferior stuff is cost about that much. But yeah, that's basically all I'm gonna do is just brush it on there. Like I said, just the rust, and then flip it over and do the other sides. And then I think that'll be it for the night. And then we come back in the morning, and it'll be all dry. So this stuff takes a long time to dry, overnight. And we can start putting this together. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, there they are. They're painted. So we'll come out here in the morning and put the fender and wheel wells together. We'll go from there. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, I'm back out here. Got this fender on and wheel well. We'll just go over it. This little extension here is held on. We'll go over it. 3 bolts up here, 3 bolts below, that's 6. 1 there, that's 7. And there'll be 2 more in with the header here. That's 9. Oh, and this one, 10. There's 10 bolts holding this little piece on. Almost as many as holding this front fender on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, yeah, fixing to put on. So you got to put the fender on first, then the wheel well. I tried bolting the wheel well on first, putting the whole assembly on, but no, it wasn't gonna work. You couldn't get it over top all this, so they'd take it apart. Okay, so I'm fixing to put on the driver's side. So got all the wiring harness out of the way, so we're gonna have to do quite a bit of repair and stuff on this. Probably try to round up, I think, the other headlight. Yeah, it's the other headlight deal there. I think I got one that I saved. Anyway, we'll figure out where all the wiring goes in, and brought over the nose. I have to clean it up. This is probably the worst looking part of the body. Paint's pretty bad. Got one rip here though. I think that's probably about it. Some of this could be all warped and everything, but you know, it's just been sitting off the car for so long. It's probably warped out of shape. We'll figure out how that goes on. I'm not sure if there's metal braces on the back of it or what. I think this plastic fiberglass piece here is probably okay. We'll figure out how to put that on. Looks like it bolts on through all these holes there. Yeah, then these big ones here would go here, and then of course these ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they would go here. 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. So we'll blow all the old leaves out there, maybe Scotch Brite it, get all the crud off of it. And we might as well go ahead and try to mount that on there after the fenders. So yeah, let me I know how to repair these bumpers here. I bought some epoxy from 2-part epoxy from eBay, Not sure whether I want to fix that on the car or off. Probably on to stretch. I got a heat gun. We may have to kind of set it up in there and heat all this back into shape. So we'll wait till it's on the car, and maybe later on we'll fix some cracks. But for now, let's get her bolted together, and then we'll work on this fuel pump that we'll put. I can probably take this back off. Probably put it up here somewhere. That might be a good, nice little flat spot for it. This might be remnants of the overflow, maybe. I'll have to look at a Google picture there and see where the overflow goes in the windshield washer jug, and round them at some time. Well, windshield washer jug will go on that little triangle middle piece bracket. But yeah, well, that'll be at the end, if at all. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, before I forget, I mentioned earlier about blocking this vent line. I meant don't block it. On the El Camino, they had it blocked off, which pressurized the fuel when it got sun baking on it, which forced it to come up the gas line and filled up the engine with, and I had to change the oil because the oil was all filled with gas. I had to do that twice to that car till I figured out what they had done. So yeah, what I meant is don't block this off. Like, we're gonna cap off the return line, but don't cap this one off. So that's why the gas will evaporate out of there if you don't use it for a while. Okay, I just thought I'd meant to clear that up from earlier. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, I got this fender on. Okay, I just blew all the dust and leaves and everything on here. Just setting it up. Looks like it'll fit pretty good. Just got a little damage here. This is real flexible, so it's like a plastic. You would think it'd be fiberglass, but it's real flexible. But it's got some damage here and here, but that's not going to affect nothing. Should be all right, but the problem is this, and you can see where it bolts in, and then of course the rubber will bolt in farther down there. But the thing is, this has got to go inside of this, so I'm not sure how to get at these bolts here with that thing in the way. I'll figure it out, but I just can't remember. You know, I've probably worked on 100 of these back in the day, but I just can't really remember. Probably got to use a long extension with a flexible thing or something on there. But anyway, yeah, let me get that put in here, and then we'll try to bolt it on. But yeah, that's where mainly the 3 bolts there. And that's what this little bracket was for, this middle. And then right up here there's two bolts that go in there. And then a million little bolts along the bottom, like I showed you. It's got some metal braces right along there. Okay, looks like the rats chewed right there. But yeah, these things used to be cheap as hell back in the day, but I forget what I said that rear bumper was, 400 bucks or something. I'm sure this is probably 500 or something for a new nose, so we're not replacing any of that stuff. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, that inner piece screws on to the plastic, all these spots, and I don't know how many, a bunch of them. that holds it in. And then of course this is where the bolts go in, right in there. Like I said, we'll probably have to heat this up at the bottom. But yeah, it looks like you can get to them. 1 there, 2 there, 3 there. We get out the underneath ones. So yeah, it'll be pretty simple, really. So I'm just sliding it over top of all this stuff here, and we'll get her lined up. So I'll be back. Okay guys, next morning. Got the 3 bolts on here in there. I don't know what the deal is on this side. It just seems awful tight, but it's loose. But anyway, it takes long 1/2-inch bolts, and I only have 1 of them. I need 2 more. I'll hunt around for them later and see if I can stretch that. I don't know if it's the cover or it's just been sitting for so long. But yeah, 3 bolts on the top on each side, and these 2 in the middle. 2 each on these brackets here. This little brace here, and then these were plastic clips that just go in, and I don't have any of those. Takes a bunch of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7 of them. Probably some on the bottom, I'm not sure. Then we'll get to connect them braces down there, and I don't know, 3 more bolts down here. Got to put them on still. But I'm going to leave that for now. Now we got to get the headlights. This headlight bucket seems to be okay, but this one is one adjuster's busted. I got extra stuff there. I'll have to get them from the parts car. And then we got to run the wires over. Here's where the vacuum canister goes. I need one of them clips right there. Hooks on the bottom, supposed to have 2 of them on there. Anyway, I think we'll hook up the 1 vacuum line here, and then 1 will go to at least here. I'm not sure what goes there. I got a PCV valve on the other side, but I can't find nothing that fits in that. And then, like I said, we'll run the wires and the vacuum hose over here. Figure out where the wiring goes in for the signals and all that. Signal lenses are here. I guess I don't know. But anyway, right now I'm going to put on this fuel pump, electric fuel pump. Found this off the motor, come out of the 77. So I hooked that on there, so we need to run a rubber hose. And then this is the fuel lines here from the tank. We got to block this one off. That's a return. So we got to run this line to the fuel pump, and then a line from it to here. And that should be about it. It comes with a filter. These are not it's cheap, but it's not the cheapest. This is a $25 eBay special, but it's lifetime guarantee. So, and I'm not going to mount it up behind near the tank or anything. I'm gonna mount it right in here, and has a lifetime warranty. So if it burns up by trying to pull too much, then send it back. I got 2 other cheap ones I bought, a pair for 17 bucks. So if you're gonna do this, you have to do it. Electric fuel pump, always carry a spare one, because they don't last. And then we'll find a power wire that comes on with the ignition, and hook that power wire up, and then a negative. So I'm fixing to do that now. Then I got cans of gas over there. We'll put in 5 gallons of good gas. We'll fill this up. I got antifreeze, but we're just going to fill it up with water in case anything leaks. And then I got to put some transmission fluid in there. And then what we want to do is run it for a while on its own and check for leaks. Oil, transmission fluid, power steering fluid, water. And once I got all this hooked up, well, my new battery cable ain't long enough. So I'll have to get another one. Those goddamn things are like 22 bucks or something. Just for a... I got a long one, 32 inches or 30 something inches. Last night I found this bracket here and cut it up for the power steering pack bracket. Had to put a spacer in there. But this has got a slide on it here, so it can actually adjust. But the main adjuster is right there, and I already adjusted it and tightened it up here, so it is, or is it tight? It might have loosened up a little bit from putting this bracket on there. Yeah, I don't know, it looks out a little bit, but we'll try it there. Anyway, it's the best I can do. And it's filled up, so yeah, it's ready to run. So anyway, let me do all that, and I'll come back, and we'll see if we can keep her running, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, I was messing with it earlier, then it got a little too hot out. So hooked up the fuel pump here. The only wire I could find handy was the temperature control fan switch. So if you turn the fan on, it'll get power. Anyway, it comes on. I should have hooked a clear fuel filter there so I could see it. So I primed it, the line going into the gas tank. I filled that up with 3 cups. I use that cup there. 3 cups of gas in there to, you know, kind of prime it first, and then put it on there. And it comes on, and filled up the float bowl here, and started up, and it'll run for a minute till it runs out of gas in the float. So it's not pumping gas. Then I disconnected this line and filled it up with gas, and it doesn't seem to be sucking gas. So then, last resort, I made another line here going to a gas can. I just tried it, same thing. So it's a dud or something. But yeah, that was 25 bucks. These two here were 17 for the pair. They don't have a filter on it, but I guess I can put on a clear filter now. And I'm gonna try one of these. So that's what I got going on right now. And then I can move on to, although it'll be dark here pretty soon, but we'll move on to some other stuff. This wiring and bolting the rest of this nose up. But so far, I filled it all up with fluids, transmission fluid, water. Nothing's leaking so far. This is, I just topped the water off again. This is just dripping from topping it off. But I've had it running about 4 or 5 times for like a minute till it runs out of gas. And so far no leaks. But yeah, we need to run it for a while and get it hot and all that stuff. But the last time I started it, I didn't have an oil thing was open on this side here, and it would just blew out 3 quarts of oil immediately. But yeah, we're gonna try to hook up the temperature sensor and the tack, see which wires are which. Okay, well, I'll be back. Got some squeak or something down there. There's some squeak or something down there. I'll have to check it. Anyway, get it with a flashlight, check that noise. I don't know what that could be. But anyway, this cheaper fuel pump seems to work, running on its own, but just had it connected there. Okay, let me mess with it some more. I had it connected to this one here, but now it doesn't light up. Might have blown a fuse. See, that one does. Anyway, I'll have to figure out a better spot for that anyway. A better wire to connect it to. Okay, I'm going to check that noise out, and then we'll let it run for a while. Heat it up. Check for leaks. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, guys, it's overflowing to water. It's hot. Okay, turn it off for a second. Okay, that noise is it's hitting a starter. The little, where the gear comes out to start it, that little rod that it, anyway, it's hitting just the edge of it. So I think this is the wrong starter. Starter came out the old 350 block, and these TBIs must be different. So yeah, it's the wrong starter. But anyway, it works. I hooked up this green wire to the tack, but all I did was make the temperature gauge go over. Didn't peg it, went over to like 220 or something. So this green wire here needs to go to here. And then so I connected, I just got a junk piece of wire there to what I thought was a tack, but the tack's not doing nothing. Plus it's not getting a good connection. The transmission does work. See, it does that a lot. It'll start and then die. Give it a couple of pumps and it'll stop. Yeah, the tack isn't working. Gas gauge pegs over. But yeah, if I wheels moving. Turn it off for a minute. I ain't got no brakes. Brakes need to be bled. We'll put it in reverse and see. Okay. Good reverse. looks like the transmission will work. We just need that tube for the vacuum modulator valve. I don't know where I could get one of them, but okay, I'm going to try to hook up this temp gauge, and then I don't have an overflow to put on that, so we'll just have to wait till it's, I know I filled it right to the top. I don't think we can get the tack working, but we'll run a green wire over here and get the temperature gauge, see if that works. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, next morning. Getting a late start, and man, that sun is beating down. She's hot. I ain't gonna get much done right now, but want to go over some stuff. So I had it running for a while, enough to get it hot and everything, and no leaks. Temperature gauge works. Oh, so run from that green wire that somebody says for the tack. It's not, it's for the temperature gauge. I run it down here. I got this taped up because this is was hitting the header. I got those spark plug boots that I need to put on. They're kind of a pain in the ass. I'm not going to do them right now. So I just put this connector on the temperature gauge, and like I said, this is supposed to be the tack, but I hooked that up. Unless I had a bad connection or it's not connected past the firewall. It's supposed to go right there. Okay, so we'll have to mess with that some more. If not, we're just going to leave it. So no leaks, no oil leaks, no transmission leaks, no power steering leaks, which is amazing. These, you know, aftermarket lines and everything, I was worried about something leaking, but nothing's leaking. We just got a little noise from the flywheel hitting that edge of that starter rod thing there. So eventually I'll have to get a new starter that will actually fit this. Okay, so it was running for a while, and then all of a sudden it died. And I was like, ah, shit. This fuel pump went out. We'll try it here. See? Not pumping. So that went out. Got one more like that because I bought the pair. But I don't know. I'll see if I can find a better one on eBay that's, I know you're supposed to mount them up by the tank because they're not supposed to pull, just push, but we'll have to figure something out on the fuel system. Okay, so now we got that problem. And we get wired it up to a proper ignition so it comes on with the key. Okay, so if you people wanted to know about the wiring, they have problems with their front wiring headlight harness. This is a separate harness here for the cruise control. So this is the cruise control stuff here, which I'm not going to hook up. I got the deal with the one cable coming off of it. But anyway, so the harness that screws into the firewall there for the headlights and everything, that comes up. Now this is all chewed up by rats and had a bunch of chewed off wires. This signal marker lens right here was chewed up, and I had another one, so I soldered them in. That's blue and brown. Now the headlight, this was all disintegrated. This is off another car. I had to punch out these deals here. Got a little, I don't know what I did with them. little deals here, and you put it in there. I don't know if you can see that little tab right in there. Push that down and pull it out. So that's for your headlight. Then you got a ground, which I should change because it's chewed, but not all the way through. The ground's right there. And then the signal lens, signal plug, and I put it through there. That's the only spot I could find. So that comes out right here and plugs into the marker signal, turn signal, lens, whatever you want to call it. Okay, pretty simple. Signal, headlight, and marker light. I checked it all out. They all work. I haven't hooked up a headlight, but I put my little electrical tester there, and it works. Okay, so one of the deals I left on the radiator support, the little clip, but that will into that, and then it's got some remnants of a clip on there, clips. So these go, take this off, and it'll go in behind here and clip underneath or wherever there's little holes. So it comes across like this, underneath this, and then this one here is just your horn. I got 3 horns. I haven't checked that out yet. And the horn comes off this bracket and hangs down either way, this one or this one. And that wire would come out from underneath here, plug into the horn. Okay, and then it'll come over here, and this is the same as the other side. You got your signal lens, your marker lens, and your headlight. And this one here was disintegrated right there, so I kind of stuck it in there and put some tape. That should clip into the headlight. And then the ground. So that would come out. I'm going to take this battery out, and just the ground would go down in here somewhere, and plug it in just like the other side. Your marker lens is right here. And that's it. It's pretty simple. And if you need to know the colors, this one was what, blue? Yeah, blue and brown. And then your headlight is green, brown, and black. And your marker lenses are blue, black, and brown. So that's it. So I'm going to do that probably tonight, but I need to wrap up this video and edit it and put it out. Plus, I already explained what I'm going to do, so when we come back, I'll turn on the headlights and stuff for you. So, yeah, now we've got to round up a clip. Like I said, we're going to bolt on the rest of this, all the little bolts I showed you where they go to, all the little plastic clips, if I can round them up. I got a little thing full of plastic clips, and we'll see if I got enough to go in there. If not, you can put some self-tappers. And then it comes with the blacked out bezels, but they're missing or broken. So the only good ones I got are chrome. So I'm going to sand them down, flat black them. These marker lenses are already flat black, but I'll probably paint them just so they both match. So I'm going to be doing that. I got the grill. I'll mount the grill in there. Although what I'm missing, which somebody robbed, is a Z28 emblem here, and the one on the taillight gas lid deal. But the problem is they're like $83 or $86 each. Goes right here. So 170 bucks with tax. Yeah, I ain't spending it. So okay, then under here there's remnants of the original spoiler that's broke. And if you remember, there's a little steel bracket in here. Little steel bracket along the bottom. This will bolt to that. like that. Yeah, steel bracket in here. So he supplied another spoiler. So I'm going to put that on. And then I'm going to put the, well, I got to bolt on these bottom bolts here. We only got these 3 here. I'm going to bolt in them. And we'll put on that flare. Put on the spoiler. And wrap up all this front end. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do later tonight. So when we come back next video, all that'll be done. I'll just show you what I did. And I think that's about it. Okay, so next video, we're either going to do the exhaust. I got some pipes and mufflers. It's just open headers. And I had to cut open headers right there. Yeah, it's got a little drip. Oh, you see it? A little drip. I think that gear shift seal is leaking just a tad. Yeah, so we're gonna weld something to that and then run some pipes and mufflers. We'll do that next video, and possibly make some door panels. I got some material, and I got some paneling in that old mobile home, and I think we're gonna cut up some paneling to make, still with the key in there. I think we're gonna make this door panel out of paneling, reuse that curved piece, and you kind of rivet it or something in there, and then cover it with some material. I was gonna buy some, but I got a roll, and I think it's that stuff that if you put tape to it, it'll peel off. It's shitty stuff, but as long as I don't put tape on it, it should be all right. But I'm not sure. I hate to throw it away, but if it screws up because of the heat or something like that, then we can recover it. At least it'll be made. So we'll make the door panel, and cut out the holes for the window winder and this deal. I got the bezels that go in this. We'll paint them, and all that. So we'll either do one or both next video. Door panels, exhaust, and see if I get some more of this little stuff done. Once we're done underneath the hood completely, then we can put on the hood and hood hinges. But yeah, the front end's like 90% there. Just need to button up this front nose and put on a hood, and the whole front end's done. So yeah, I think that'll wrap it up for this video. We got quite a bit done. All the wheel wells painted and put on, the fenders, the nose. Got the engine running good, and checking for leaks. Got the power steering pump and all kinds of stuff done. So yeah, I think that'll wrap it up. So I got a whole laundry list of, I got most of it done that I wanted to on this video, but now we got another list of more and more stuff. So subscribe if you haven't, like, comment, share, and all that stuff, and we'll see y'all next video. Thanks everybody for watching.